Well, that was a hell of a fight card. Oh, what up, Marley? Where the hell did you go? Alright. Did you guys see Ian Garry versus Khamzat backstage? What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that, guys? Khamzat shoved Ian Garry backstage? Or am I tripping? And then at the Arman post-fight interview, he wasn't allowed to talk about it? What the fuck was that? What was it? That was a crazy fight card, though. I already made the recap, but if you didn't watch, here it is. We had two #1 contenders emerge from that main and co-main event, and that's the facts. Let me make sure I got my chat on here. I guess I have the hot take. I just found out I have the hot take. I thought everyone agreed. I think I'm the odd one out here. Ain't that some? I'll tell you about what in a second. But honestly, about the main event. I'm just saying. Do people really think that Ilia is going to be begging for an Arman fight? Do people really think Ilia Topuria is going to be out here hooting and hollering, screaming for the #1 contender to fight him for the belt? I mean, I haven't seen Ilia give any signs that he wants to fight Arman. All the signs are pointing towards Paddy Pimblett. Or am I crazy? I saw I saw Ilia Topuria get into like fake made up altercations with Paddy Pimblett all fight week. I didn't see Ilia Topuria when Arman was facing off with Dan Hooker. He was just hiding in the background like, where's Waldo? I didn't see Ilia Topuria when Arman asked for a face-off after he won the fight. I'm not saying I know it all, but I'm just saying what I'm seeing. I haven't seen Ilia Topuria in proximity. I haven't seen him even near in radius of Arman Tsarukyan. He's not even in diameter of him. He's not in the same radius. I swear it's like you couldn't even get those two next to each other at all. I thought for sure all fight week, I thought they put Ilia Topuria's brother on this fight card so that Ilia Topuria and Arman can see each other, face off, hype us up for the fight. I mean, we all know Arman's going to beat Dan Hooker. We all knew that. I thought the UFC purposely did this so Ilia and Arman would have some footage of them walking across each other, walking paths, walking past each other. And I thought something would happen. I thought like Ilia would give a hint or a signal like this fight's going down. But I guess everyone is convinced that, you know, Ilia Topuria will never duck Arman. It's not even a thought in his mind. Ilia's going to accept that Arman fight, no hesitation. I think that's what everyone thinks. I think they got it wrong. You know, I'm not MMA Joey over here, you know, freaking out about Artem and saying that he's Ilia's running from Artem. No. I'm saying Ilia's running from Artem because of what I saw on Fight Week. And what I saw is all Ilia cares about is Paddy Pimblett. And then the other hot take I had, which I didn't know was a hot take, was Ian Garry deserves to fight for the belt against Islam. Not Prates and not Morales. We're all in agreement on Usman, but I guess it's not night and day. I guess it's not black and white. I guess it's not that clear that Ian Garry's next to fight Islam for the belt, which is crazy. I'm not a... Trust me. Today was the first day I started respecting Ian Garry a little bit. You know? I was an Ian Garry hater up until today. But I mean, facts are the facts. You know, I was an Ian Garry hater up until today, you know. I'm not this crazy Ian Garry fan, I mean, but today, he was just speaking facts. And that's it. Even in the pre-fight interviews, he was saying, Usman's a has-been, and of course Islam wants that fight. You know? A guy with a big name, who's not a real threat anymore. You know, he was calling it out. They got the same manager. Of course Islam wants that fight. Ali Abdelaziz will make a shitload of money, you know? But, you know, he said he'd beat Bilal. He beat Bilal, and he won every round. And I guess you're not allowed to call that fight dominant. Alright? I guess 3-0 isn't dominant. I mean, I get it. Bilal was never, like, getting manhandled or ragdolled, but he lost every round. I kind of look at that fight as Petr Yan versus Davison Figueiredo, right? That's a perfect example, even though that was a 5-rounder. Petr Yan beat Figgy every single round when they fought in China, right? UFC China. Yan won every single round, but they were close rounds. Figgy, you know, he might have got a takedown here or there, or he might have landed a decent strike here or there, or got a reversal, but Petr Yan won every round against Figgy, and same thing here in this 3-rounder. Ian Garry, he won every round against Bilal, even though Bilal could hold his own. Even if you 10-9 someone and win every round, I still think that's dominant. You know? I think that shit's dominant. Because you won every round. Like, you don't have to get a 10-8 to have a dominant performance. 10-8 means, like, they're on the brink of being finished. Like, it wasn't even close at all. Damn near every second of the fight is almost being stopped. The ref is about to jump in every second of the fight. That's how dominant a 10-8 is, you know? Like, a 10-8 to me means, like, it's a mismatch. The fighter's going to get finished. The ref's looking like he's going to step in every second. Completely battered. And yeah, that's dominance, but I still think winning 3 rounds, 10-9, is dominant. I do. Especially against a former champ. I mean, Bilal's last fight was a title fight, right? You know, Bilal beat Sean Brady. Just like Morales did, right? I mean, his name had stock. Habib was calling Bilal the best welterweight, you know. But, yeah. But the crazy thing about this fight card was after the fight. I think this was a great fight card, but I got some questions after this fight card. One I know the answer to, one I don't. The first one is, why wasn't Ilia there to face off with Arman? I mean, come on. We all know Arman's #1 contender. We all know we're hype. And I don't know if he left after Alexandre Topuria fought. I don't know if he ditched his seat right before the main event to avoid Arman. Or I don't know if he was just sitting there quiet while Arman was saying, I want to face off with Topuria. Where are you? Where was he? He was in Qatar, that's for sure. He was in the arena that day. Just hours before Arman fought, that's for sure. He knew Arman was there, that's for sure, but he wasn't there to face off. He doesn't want to be committed to an Arman fight. Now, I guess that's crazy talk, I don't know. Maybe we're just so wishful thinking. We're like, no, Topuria wouldn't do that. Arman's clearly the #1 contender. But little do you know, Paddy Pimblett every day is being moved up in the rankings. Every day, Paddy Pimblett has a higher ranking, and he hasn't fought since April. I swear, you're going to blink, and tomorrow Paddy Pimblett's going to be 4. And then next week, Paddy Pimblett's going to be ranked #3. And then in a month from now, Paddy Pimblett's going to be #1 contender without even fighting again. I swear, wasn't Paddy ranked like #7 or something? Not too long ago. Now he's ranked 5. Like, he hasn't fought since Michael Chandler. And they keep secretly, sneakily moving him up the rankings. Slowly but surely, you know? Not enough to cause an uproar, but just one spot at a time. They keep moving Paddy up the rankings. But my question was, that backstage shit with Ian Garry and Khamzat, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Ian Garry versus Khamzat. I thought I knew what was up. I thought, you know, I said it in my post-fight recap, like Ian Garry was congratulating Arman. And then security thought something was wrong, but there was nothing wrong. Ian Garry's like, no, we're just chilling. Me, Arman, and Khamzat. And then Khamzat saw security. And then he just went berserk. And he got this like evil look in his eye. And then he shoved Ian Garry. And Ian Garry started like killing him with kindness and be like, bro, have some class. You're a champion. Act like it. I was congratulating your buddy, Arman. This was respect, you know? And Khamzat's like, ugh! What are you doing, you fucking... Whatever he said. What the fuck was that? I agree with Ian Garry. I can't believe I'm siding with Ian Garry. What is wrong with Khamzat? But the weird part is Arman did his post-fight press conference. And the reporter who does pub talk with Dan Hooker, Oscar Willis, he was like, why... What's up with Khamzat? Why does he hate Ian Garry? Yeah, Oscar Willis asked Arman specifically, why does Khamzat hate Ian Garry? And Arman said nothing specific. He just said Arman doesn't like jokers, disrespectful people. What up? What's up? What's up? What up? And Arman's like, he doesn't like disrespectful people or people trying to joke around who are strangers to him. So Oscar Willis was like, okay, what was the joke? What was said for Khamzat to shove Ian Garry? You know, let me make sure I say this. Oscar Willis was like, what was said? Why would Khamzat shove Ian Garry? Like, what could Ian have said? And then someone hollers in the back of the press conference room at Arman to shut up. Someone screams during... It was a UFC employee or someone, a handler, screaming at Arman when he was about to answer that question about why Khamzat pushed Garry. And then they like signal Arman to check his phone, and he reads his phone. And then he just sits there in silence. And Oscar Willis is like, sorry, I won't ask. I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, yeah, that's my story. He took it wrong when Ian said he ain't going to fight me. Oh, I mean, was that all it was? He was so mad about that? Ian was just telling security, yo, we're all just chilling. What did you think of the card today? It was a great card. I missed a couple of the prelims, but the main card was great. I wish Volkan Ozdemir versus Menefield went on a little longer. But it was a great card. And I wish Ian Garry versus Bilal was 5 rounds, since that's the #1 contender fight. But with the cards that were dealt, I mean, that was a great card. I would say that was better than 3-2-2. How about that? Why did that feel better than 322? Better co-main event. Better main event. Not on paper, but a more exciting main event. So the top 2 fights were better than 322. Yep, look at his face expression. Completely changed the very second he said that. Yeah. Dude, what's wrong with Khamzat? Seriously. I gotta look into that Khamzat versus Ian Garry scuffle. Yeah, Arman was like told not to explain why Khamzat shoved Ian Garry. I don't know if they thought Arman would make Khamzat look bad and they're on the same team. Was Bilal versus Garry good? I didn't watch it. No way. You didn't watch it? I don't believe you. Did you watch the main event? Well, Bilal versus Garry was the only fight that went to decision on the main card. But it was good. I mean, we just watched Valentina Shevchenko versus... Compared to the 2 title fights, what was that, last week? Compared to the 2 title fights last week, yes. Ian Garry versus Bilal Muhammad was a good fight. It was. It was better than Islam versus Jack. And it was better than Weili versus Shevchenko. It was a stand-up fight where Bilal couldn't get a single takedown. And Ian Garry was picking him apart with knee stomps, with snap kicks, with jabs, with crosses. Counter wrestling. Ian Garry was picking him apart. Leg kicks. He dropped Bilal with leg kicks. It was good. The only thing that wasn't good is it's official. Eye pokes are legal. It's official. Like what Dana White said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. When the UFC shows you that eye pokes aren't illegal and you won't get points taken away, believe them. I learned for sure, it's 100% certain. Eye pokes are most certainly a legal technique. They're a legal technique, but you're allowed to get 5-minute breaks if you do get hit with that legal technique. Confusing shit. But yeah, other than eye pokes being allowed, it was a good fight. But it needed 5 rounds, you know. People didn't think Ian Garry dominated. He won 3 rounds. Maybe if he won all 5 rounds, they would have considered it dominant. Wasn't able to watch the last 2 fights, unfortunately. Was at the gym during that time that the fights were on. My phone battery's messed up, so I couldn't watch the fights on my phone either. Damn. I'll just tell you this. The co-main event and main event were better than the 322 title fights. The main event was great too. Arman didn't miss a step. Arman looked like he's been fighting this whole year. Arman looked better than ever. He got even better on the ground. I mean, the ground and pound. Arman made ground fighting and grappling exciting again. Because he can actually throw ground and pound. The wolf hears he ain't going to fight me and takes that as an insult. Completely different upbringing. He's been radicalized. That's crazy. Khamzat did that shit with Joaquin Buckley too. But it's kind of weird. Like, he doesn't get mad at them first glance. He doesn't get mad at them when they first cross paths. He gets mad at them as they start walking away. It's kind of like bitch shit. Why get mad at them as they're walking away when their backs are turned? He did that to Buckley too. Get mad at them when you guys are face to face. And Khamzat pushing Ian Garry, that was more violence than I seen in his last fight. He did more damage to Ian Garry than he did to Dreykus. That's why I hate the early cards. I don't know what time it was for you, but that was perfect. That was a 1 p.m. main card for me. That was at 1 p.m. That was perfect. I love those cards. I want more early cards because a normal fight card, a normal pay-per-view or a fight card is at 10 o'clock at night for me, usually when they fight in Vegas. And then the fight card's over at 1 a.m. Then I gotta drop a post-fight recap. I'm up the whole fucking night. Like, I love when the card ends around, like, 5 o'clock in the evening. Dinner time. Then I still got my whole night. I love the 1 p.m. main cards. I think we need more of those. Shevchenko did kick Zhang in the face during the fight. That's about it. I already forgot about that fight. I erased it from my brain. I MK Ultra'd it out of my brain. 322's co-main sucked so bad. It was so bad. It was so bad. There was no women's fights on this card. UFC Qatar was a success. It was. I wish Shev would just retire already. Yeah. Fight Dakota when they draft her or retire. There's nothing else we want to see. Remember, he said he kill everybody. He kill everybody. I do. And that's when Khamzat was exciting. Man, I thought Khamzat was going to have the career that Alex Pereira had. All this shit that Alex Pereira is doing, won belts at middleweight, light heavyweight, possibly can get a third belt, active fighter, was fighting all the time, short notice fights. I thought that was going to be Khamzat's career. But that turned out to be Alex Pereira's career. Alex Pereira did what Khamzat dreamed of doing. But Khamzat just couldn't stay active. I swear, I thought Khamzat was going to be Pereira. I thought he was going to be the active champ, winning multiple belts, fighting all the time, finishing people. But no, Alex Pereira was about it. Alex Pereira is living Khamzat's dreams. That's what I think. Main card started at 12 in the afternoon for me. That's a good time in my book, unless you work the night shift. I like fights later in the day because my Saturday mornings are busy. And I like watching the fights during the evening to relax. True. Okay. I hear ya. Why can't the UFC settle for, I don't know, 5 p.m. then? Why can't we get 5 p.m., 5 o'clock in the evening main cards? Like, why do we gotta wait till fucking 10:30 at night to watch the main card? Like, once in a while I get it, but fuck, make the main card start at 5 p.m. That would be so much better. I really think they would reel in the views. 5 p.m. wouldn't be bad. No, not at all. Not at all. That's what I wish. I think making people stay up all night for the fights makes like the expectation of the fight so much higher. Like, cause we're staying up so fucking late. Like, we're like, the fight's better be good. This fight better be good or I'm gonna hate this guy because I'm staying up all night for this. And then if the fight isn't what we thought, we go crazy. We go fucking nuts. I think we would have less rage if the fights were in the evening. Because say the fights were duds, we're like, alright, well, I still got my night left. At least I didn't waste sleep. Sucks having to stay up for fights like Shev vs. Zhang and Islam vs. JDM. I know, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. On paper, the fights were good. But it wasn't worth it at all to stay up for them. I agree. Who would have thought that Islam... I knew Islam would win. But I didn't know it'd be as boring as Dricus Khamzat. And same thing with Dricus vs. Khamzat. Who would have thought that fight would have been so bad? Like, those were the two biggest title fights that happened this year on paper. and they were the worst. Think of a more title fight this year that happened, besides Dreykus, Khamzat, and JDM Islam. On paper, there was no bigger title fights besides what, Pierre Magomed? Yeah, a lot of shit was good on paper. You know, like Anthony Smith says, on paper, there was good title fights this year with Magomed Pierre number 1 and all of them, but a lot of them didn't play out how we thought. Double stream, yes sir, yes sir. What up, AJ Manx? I know you set up your projector, so I figured I'd stream again, so you could play it on the projector. Yeah, double stream, man. I'm only staying on this one for an hour and a half, but since the card was so good, and since there's a lot of controversy about this card and all the rest of it, I'm like, fuck it. There's shit to talk about. I also wanted to talk about Waldo Acosta. Before tonight's fights, I wasn't too high in Waldo or Ian Garry, but now I am. Now I am. Waldo Acosta fought 5 fucking times this year. You know, he fought 5 fucking times this year. And I know his last fight before this was a weird one. It looked like an Aspinall humiliation type of fight, but he has to fight again for a 6th time. You gotta respect that. Dude's fought more than Kevin Holland, or just as much. That's crazy. Add salsa. We need to spice up 323 just a little bit. Or that Apex card. How do you spice something up? You add salsa. I think heavyweight finally picking up a little bit. Because we know in our minds Aspinall's the best, right? But now Cyril Gane, we're finding out, even though he's an eye poker, he's pretty high level. Now we're finding out Waldo Acosta's picking up momentum. Waldo Acosta's higher level than we thought. Because after he lost to Pavlovich, we kind of wrote him off. But now we all forgot about that loss. I don't even remember his Sergey Pavlovich fight anymore. You know? He beat the Blob. So, fuck yeah. I'm just saying, wow, a fight night. A fight night? Why are the fight nights better than the pay-per-views sometimes? I'm gonna watch your recent post. Talk to you later, Meech. Have a good stream. Appreciate it, man. We'll see you in a few. Yeah, watch the post-fight recap. I got the hot take. I got the take no one agrees with. I did not know I was the odd one out. I thought we're all on the same page here. Apparently, everyone thinks Ilia Topuria is all in on this Arman fight. Where's the proof of that? I think Ilia hates the idea of this Arman fight. I didn't know that was a hot take. I think if Waldo fights once more, he will have fought the most times in a single year than any other fighter. If Waldo fought more than Kevin Holland and Merab in a single year, you gotta respect that. You gotta respect that. That's badass. In the year of the biggest fucking stallers and people sitting on their throne and not doing shit and expecting entitled title shots, you gotta respect that. You know? Well, at least heavyweight, at least we got some action going now, I guess. So we got Tom Aspinall as the best, and Cyril Gane, and then Waldo Acosta's creeping up. I swear, Sergey Pavlovich pulling out of the fight against the Blob was one of the best things to happen to this card. Thank you so much. No, not Sergey Pavlovich. Sergey Spivak, thank you for pulling out of the fight. I didn't want to watch you fight tonight. I wanted to watch Salsa Boy fight the Blob. Wait, was Waldo versus Ryan Spann in March? I thought it happened more recently than that. I thought that was a while ago. That fight feels like forever ago. I'll check. I thought that fight was even longer ago. You're right. Yeah, it was. That was in March. Damn, that's how much he's been fighting. That fight felt like forever ago. What's the most you have won in a single night of UFC betting? And what's the biggest underdog you have bet on and won? I think the most I ever won, I don't remember how much it was, but I remember what card it was. It was Jones versus Cyril Gane. That card. I picked John Jones by first round sub. I got the rest of the fights on that card right. That was my best night of betting. But I haven't really been betting recently since. You know? But that Jones versus Cyril Gane fight card 2 years ago, I think that was my best night of betting ever. I picked Jones by first round sub, and I was right on the money with the other fights. And the biggest underdog I bet on and won. Oh, I'm going to have to think about that one. That's a good one. I'm going to have to think about that one. There's been some big underdogs. I'll need a minute to answer that one. Damn, I thought Waldo versus Spann was in May. No, you're right the first time. March. That was in March. But yeah, Salsa Boy's killing it. Has Tom Aspinall said anything about these fights? Has Tom Aspinall been given updates on when he's ready? Or has he responded to Waldo? Waldo Acosta called out Aspinall twice now, back to back. I honestly don't have Twitter, so I don't know if Aspinall responded to any of the things going on in heavyweight recently. You guys see John Jones going on these fucking podcasts? Like these nobody podcasts? Where the guy doesn't even know anything about UFC or MMA. And they just nod along. Like, John Jones has been going on an Aspinall tour. He only goes on podcasts that people have never heard of. Because they need views. And they just nod along to what John Jones says. And they pretend like they know what he's talking about. John Jones can't stop talking about Aspinall. Ain't that some? He's back at it like a bad habit. He's back at it like a bad habit. I'm so sick of hearing him talk about this White House card. I think the White House card is bringing out fighters that don't care about fighting anymore. They just want some more attention, some more fame. Some easy, quick fame. Like John Jones said, I have no interest in fighting. I just want to be known as the guy who fought at the White House. Jorge Masvidal wants to fight at the White House, even though he said when he retired, I don't have it anymore. My hands are fucked up. Is anyone interested in John Jones at this White House card, or is anyone interested in this White House card at all? Brandon Royval, he's not a fan of it, but I don't understand. Dana White said it's not about America versus the world on this White House card. It's just about the best fights. I wonder why that is. Why not try your best to have the few American fighters that we have doing good on that card, you know? I think it should fit the theme a little bit, you know? Should fit the theme a little bit. And what are we doing? So we're going into the last pay-per-view in January or in December. What do you think of UFC 323? It seems like a pretty good card besides Merab vs. Jan. I think the prelims, that's a good stack of prelims right there. I think the prelims look great. I think the card is great. It's just missing one thing. It's missing, I don't know how to say it, a storyline, a star, drama. It's just missing, like, something. Like, they're all good fights, but there's nothing to talk about other than the actual fights. Like, I don't know if there's like this big rivalry on the card. I don't know if I'm trying to explain it. Like, these are all good fights. I actually know every fighter on the card. You know, that's good that I know every fighter on the card. That's a good thing. But it's just missing, it's missing something. I can't put my finger on it. It needs one more thing. What could it be? I think I know what it's missing. It's missing a #1 contender fight. I don't see a single #1 contender fight. That's the problem. Merab vs. Jan just isn't interesting to me at all. I like Petr Yan, but I hear you. I hear you. I'd be interested in Merab versus anyone else, really. Interesting. I think Petr Yan deserves it. I wish he fought Umar first, but technically Petr Yan on paper, he's on a 3-fight win streak against guys that Merab doesn't even have on his resume. Yadong, McGee, Figgy. He beat 3 guys on his 3-fight win streak that Merab hasn't even faced yet. But we need a #1 contender fight on 323. Cejudo versus Tabit is most definitely not a #1 contender fight. Brandon Moreno versus Tiara. I mean, I guess you can consider that, but that's nothing new. Brandon Moreno's not some new up-and-comer, right? Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. That should be good, but that isn't a #1 contender fight. We all know the #1 contender fight's Yuri versus Olberg. Isn't Moreno versus Tiara gonna decide who gets the title shot? Yes, Tiara is fun to watch. That could be a #1 contender fight, but it's not like some new emerging prospect, right? Like, it doesn't have that Arman versus Hooker feel. It doesn't have that Michael Morales versus Sean Brady feel, or that Ian Garry versus Bilal Muhammad feel. I don't know. Like when Josh Van fought Brandon Royval in flyweight. That felt like a #1 contender fight. I could just tell. But shit, how many times are we going to see Brandon Moreno fight for a belt? How many times? Dude, I wish that Makayev was in the UFC so they could do Makayev versus Tiara. Wouldn't that be such a good fight? Yeah. Yeah. And did you see that rumor why Makayev, one of the reasons why Makayev was booted out? I don't know if it was true or not, but I heard that Makayev told Dana White in a meeting that, hey, Dana, you're John Jones' boyfriend. Is that true? Did anyone hear that? That Makayev went up to Dana White and called him John Jones' boyfriend? And that's one of the reasons why Dana kicked him out. Hey, good to see you live again. Live. How are you, brother? Good. How are you? Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm doing a double today. Back-to-back lives. That's what happens when there's a good card, you know? When there's a good card, I make more content. When there's a shitty Apex card, I make less. I heard about that too. Hey, when there's smoke, there's fire usually. Dana White, man. First, going off on this Ngannou thing. I don't believe Ngannou's a good guy, but Dana White's not a good guy either. Since when does Dana White care about how good of a person somebody is, right? So, Dana White, fuck. He got rid of Ngannou. He got rid of Makayev. Like, he got rid of one of the most talked about flyweights. He got rid of one of the most talked about heavyweights. What the fuck's this guy doing? I think even Islam Makhachev said Dana White needs to start promoting like his old self. Dana White needs to start doing it how he used to do it. It seems like Dana White he's spinning too many plates. He needs to go back to just focusing on MMA, but Dana White, the hypocrite, talking about how fighters, when they get paid, it ruins everything. Dana said when fighters get too much money, it's a fucked up thing because it ruins everything. They don't fight. They don't show up to work. I could argue the same about Dana White. Dana, you made too much money. Now you don't give a fuck. Dana making too much money ruins everything. I think Arman already being rich and still fighting proves that, you know, some fighters can still fight. And it's not always about the money. Thoughts on Boris shoving Ian Garry? Hey, I agree with Ian Garry. What Ian Garry said at the post-fight press conference. Little dick energy. To quote Ian Garry, that's little dick energy. Khamzat did that with Buckley too. Buckley walked up to Darren Till respectfully and said, hey, me and you want to set up a fight? Let's get this thing going. All right. And he dapped up Darren Till. And Khamzat waits till Buckley turns around and walks away. Then he's like, who the fuck is that? I'll fuck you up. And then he did the same thing with Garry. Garry walked up to Arman, who was beside Khamzat. He said, respect, respect. Good win. Ian Garry turns around and then Khamzat starts acting like a badass, like a fucking lunatic, I guess. Like he waits for the person to turn around and then he starts freaking out. I don't get that. He did that with Buckley too. I agree with Ian Garry. I can't believe I'm saying I agree with Ian Garry. Yeah. The little dick energy. Like, what the fuck? The weird part is the UFC cut off Arman while he was going to explain to, what's his name, Oscar Willis about why Khamzat pushed Garry. Watch the Arman press conference. And he gets a text on his phone telling him to not speak about why Khamzat pushed Ian Garry. Or what Ian Garry said to Khamzat that riled him up. That was so random too. Didn't need to do that. Yeah, like what the fuck? That was random. It's not even like they have a potential fight on the table. You know what I wish? I wish Ilia Topuria did that to Arman. Like, I want to see a fighter shove a fighter who they're going to fight in the future. Right? Like, if anyone was pushing anybody, I wish it was between Arman and Ilia. Like, they're supposed to be the next title fight at lightweight, and they weren't even in proximity of each other. Does no one think Ilia's avoiding Arman, or what? Am I the crazy one? I thought Ilia's the new McGregor. McGregor's the master promoter. He's always building and setting up his next fight. Prime McGregor. I thought Ilia wants to be like McGregor. Where was the build-up to your next fight? You didn't sell me on you versus Arman. Like, it's not like he needs to, but where was the face-off? Why was Ilia Topuria not ready to jump in that cage and face off Arman? I thought Ilia wants to be like his role model, Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor would have jumped in there and had a face-off with his next opponent. That's promotion 101. What are you doing, Topuria? Are you forgetting? McGregor would have promoted his next fight. Why aren't you promoting yours? I'm more hyped for Arman Ilia than Islam Arman, to be honest. That's a major super fight. Can't wait. I can't wait either. But how are we so confident? Like, all week I've been looking for Ilia versus Arman interaction. Nothing. You know what I found? Ilia, Topuria, Paddy the Baddy talk trash to each other. They cross paths in Qatar and talk trash. So Topuria's creating headlines with Paddy Pimblett. He's getting in, I don't know, heated scuffles with Paddy Pimblett, but not Arman. That tells me Topuria wants the Paddy fight. So I hope you guys are right. You guys seem confident that Topuria's all in on this Arman fight just because the fans are. People forget, man, Topuria has the same manager as John Jones. People forget, man. Ilia Topuria has the same manager as John Jones. John the Duck Jones. I hope that manager isn't giving Ilia Topuria any stupid ideas about ducking. You know? Doesn't make sense why Ilia didn't get in the cage. He's fighting this dude whether he likes it or not. I hope, please. Please prove me wrong. Because my prediction is Ilia Topuria is going to fight Paddy Pimblett. And I've never wished I was wrong. So bad. I really wish I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Why do I feel like Ilia versus Arman isn't going to happen? I hope I'm wrong. I'll gladly be wrong on my prediction. But if you really wanted to sell that fight, if you really want to be the new Conor McGregor and hype us up, you step in that cage and you face off with Arman like you did with Paddy back in June. I don't think Ilia really cares for Arman. Ilia wants to fight Paddy or Islam. That's what I'm saying, and it's pissing me off. I have no problems with Paddy Pimblett. But if Paddy Pimblett gets the title fight, the UFC is going to force me to hate Paddy. Because now I'm going to look at him as someone who got the privilege and the shortcut. UFC, don't make me hate Paddy. I got nothing against Paddy. Don't leapfrog him above Arman and make me fucking go against Paddy. You know? Even though it won't be Paddy's fault if the UFC gives him that title shot. I'm not going to have the respect I have for him as a true number one contender, because he's not, you know? Wasn't he just ranked like 7 the other day? Now he's ranked 5? Every day they just, you know, quietly bump Paddy Pimblett up the rankings each and every day. He moves up a slot on the rankings every day. Slowly. They're not doing it like, they're not making it noticeable, but they move him up a ranking every week here and there, you know? Somehow Paddy Pimblett crept his way to number 5. I don't remember him being number 5 after he beat Michael Chandler, you know? Whatever he was ranked after he beat Chandler is where he should be. ranked right now. Because he hasn't fought since. But they keep bumping him up. For what? Why are they bumping him up the rankings? If Petr Yan wins the title, therapists are going to go out of business because everyone's just going to cancel their appointments. No one needs therapy in a world where Yan is on the throne. I hope Yan wins. I do. I'm rooting for Yan. I was rooting for Merab against Umar. I was, but I'm rooting for and I was rooting for Merab against O'Malley the second time, but I'm ready for a new champ. I'm ready for a new champ. Especially after I heard that Merab is calling DJ on the phone, crying about the Mighty Guru podcast. Like, dude, who gives a fuck? I swear DJ was like hinting that Merab is calling him, telling him off about the Mighty Guru podcast. I don't know. Merab, I don't know. I want Petr Yan to win. I do. Merab versus Petr Yan has zero appeal to me. It has zero appeal to me because it already happened. And Yan had no success in the first fight. It was in the Apex. Yan's a little more aware of Merab now. I don't know if that matters, but I think a bigger octagon will help. And I think Petr Yan on a 3-fight winning streak will help as well. He's on a 3-fight winning streak. And another thing is Merab fights differently now than when he fought Petr Yan. When Merab fought Petr Yan, all he did was shoot single leg after single leg and didn't commit. Merab changed his fighting style. He strikes more now. He shoots a lot of takedowns, but he trimmed it down. He shoots less takedowns per minute nowadays. Ever since the Henry Cejudo fight. Yeah, ever since that Henry Cejudo fight, I noticed a slight change in Merab's style. He doesn't shoot as many takedowns per minute now as he used to. And I think it's because he's fallen in love with his striking more. Ilia has went from a fighter I like to my favorite fighter after watching how lame these other champs are in their fighting styles and personalities. Ilia's just different. Is he? Is he? I gotta disagree, Caden. I gotta disagree. Pull up the UFC 317 press conference. Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. Look up the Fight Week embeddeds. UFC 317 Topuria versus Oliveira. And tell me what excited you. The only content Topuria gave us when he fought for the 55-pound belt was, I saw a video of him hugging Charles Oliveira in the sauna. And then at the press conference, didn't really say anything to Charles. And then he got asked a question about Islam, and then he cut off the reporter and said, who gives a fuck about him? Next question. I feel like Ilia didn't give us much or anything his last fight. There was no promotion. What did Ilia do to be exciting leading up to the Charles fight? The only content you're going to find on UFC 317 is Ilia hugging Charles in the sauna. But I get it. He's got knockout power. When he's in the cage, he's exciting, but he's not active. I don't know. I was on board when they tricked me into thinking Ilia versus Islam was going to happen. But once I realized that fight wasn't going to happen, the hype died down. I lean Ilia by like 52% against Arman. That touch of death power is probably going to be there. He definitely has the crisper, more powerful hands. Yeah. That's such a close fight. That's why I like it. That's a who the fuck knows fight. If Paddy cut his hair, he dropped down the rankings. He wouldn't be as marketable. True. He should keep that baby hair. And I'll add on to that. Paddy should ditch the cornrows. What the fuck is he doing? After the Jared Gordon Paddy Pimblett fight, Paddy Pimblett is afraid to fight without cornrows. Or braids. Not corn. He's afraid to fight without braids. Maybe it's because when he gets hit and his hair flies around, it looks like a more devastating punch because his hair's flying all over the place, but he doesn't stand out or look as cool with the braids. He looks like Alexander Volkov with the braids. Paddy needs to keep his baby hair, his bowl cut, while he's fighting. He hasn't fought with his bowl cut since Jared Gordon. And that kind of pisses me off. Like, you look like the Beatles. Leave your hair. You know, don't get braids every fight. You look like Alexander Volkov. That's my rant on Pimblett's hair. Keep the baby hair bowl cut. But let's not braid it during the fight and look like Alexander Volkov here, alright? Let's try to look like Paddy Pimblett. Maybe 51%. Hi, bro. Read faster. What up? What up? Redham Day. The attention span, man. The attention span. You've been watching a lot of shorts and reels lately. What's going on? I like how he is very confident and that he backs it up. His power and striking looks so impressive. Also, see how he has some of the best wrestling and grappling, just makes him different. I like how confident he is. I like his striking. I like how he has good grappling. Yeah. It's a shame that we don't get to see it that much. It's a shame we only got to watch it for 7 minutes in June. What a shame. All that good striking and impressive skill, and all we got was about 6 or 7 we got about 7 minutes of it in the Charles fight, and that was it. Haven't seen Topuria since June. It's winter now. Imagine the scenes if Ilia stops Arman and he's seeing fucking demons and shit like Hermanson. The scene would be nuts. I mean, if that happens, shit. If Ilia Topuria chinned Arman, he might reach a level of stardom that is insane. For sure, we would let him move up to 170 and fight Islam if that happened. You know? Yeah, the scene would be nuts. That'd be a legit title fight. It would mean something. You knock out Arman, that means something. If you knock out, let's say, 1 fight win streak Charles Oliveira, coming off a win against Chandler, I don't know how much that really means to me. Ilia's wife left him. I guess the Nelk boys called it. Why does he even do interviews with them? Sure, maybe they called it. I seen him drop them in sparring, but yeah. I never watch fighter interviews with the Nelk boys. I don't. I think they're part of the betting scandal. For some reason, I feel like the Nelk boys are part of the betting scandal. Call me crazy. Isaac Dalgarian immediately ran up to them after one of his fights. I think I saw a video where Isaac Dalgarian runs up to the Nelk boys. Let's stick to the real interviews, fighters. Let's ignore the I show speed. I saw Paddy Pimblett with I show speed this week. Let's ignore the Nelk boys. Let's Let's hop on some real interviews. You know? Let's avoid Aiden Ross, Islam. Like, what's going on with MMA media? Aiden Ross, Nelk Boys, and I Show Speed should be nowhere near allowed the fighters. They don't even know what a single leg means. They don't even know what an underhook is. I doubt they even know what a Kimura means or what it is. Yeah. Nina drama too. I mean, what's going on here? I wish fighters declined all those stupid idiots. But yeah, maybe Ilia, he should have got in that cage with Arman and took out all his anger on Arman. He should have pushed Arman like he did Patty. You know what would be amazing fight promotion? Like a week after they announced the title fight, Sarukian posting a picture hanging out with Ilia's ex-wife. Would you do some shit like that, Mitch? If it was his ex-wife, sure. If the word ex is included, sure. I think Colby did that with Masvidal. Colby Covington did that shit to Jorge Masvidal. I remember. That was crazy. Yeah. Bring back fight promotion, yeah. Only if that was his ex. Why not? I mean, it can't be worse than the promotion we're getting now. The most promotion we got for Arman vs. Ilia is Arman chasing after a duck. And he's petting a duck on the head. And he named it Ilia. That's the most we got so far. We honestly got more Paddy Pimblett versus Ilia promotion, sadly. Yeah, 2026. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. I need roundtables. I need one-on-one interviews. I need stir in the pot. I need feathers getting ruffled. Yeah, the Colby situation was different. He was close friends with Masvidal, and he knew his wife as buddies. But yeah, a little different. But he still did what you said. Yeah. Are the fighters rattling Nina? Is the sky blue? Yeah, of course. Dana, the UFC staff, the fighters. Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, watch her videos. Every video, there's something. You know. She should have Dan Hooker's last name. It would be fitting. She should have the same name as Dan Hooker. And that would be very fitting. And it's too convenient. Her last name is Drama. How did she get a last name called Drama? That's what's crazy. Nina Drama? That's fitting, but I think Nina Hooker is more fitting. She probably hangs out at the UFC freak-offs. Hey, she got a John Jones interview. Most normal civil people can't get a John Jones interview. But I haven't watched Nina drama content since I first found out about her doing this interview with Sean Strickland. I think it was around like shortly after COVID, I found her video with Sean Strickland. I watched one of them and then I figured out she was an industry plant. I haven't watched anything since. She asked the same question. What 3 fighters would you bring with you during an alien invasion? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? And who gives a fuck? What kind of question is that? I don't watch that shit. Yeah, agreed. I don't watch that shit. Come on. What do we need that shit for? She's hired by Hunter Campbell to distract us from the real questions. You know? To distract us from how shit Dana White is at his job. To distract us from how gay John Jones is. To distract us from how based Bryce is. It's just... Captain America. Yeah, Captain America. What fighter would you consider Captain America? But yeah, that's how I feel about Nina Drama. All the media is soft. It is. And I think Ariel's soft. But compared to the rest of the media, he's more of a risk taker than them. He gets into more controversial shit than them, which is sad. Because I always thought Ariel Helwani's soft. He is. I mean, there's a boatload of fighters banned from his show, but he even has more courage than the rest of the MMA media. Mike Bond, trash. That reporter who eats his microphone, trash. John Morgan, trash. Brett Okamoto, trash. Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier's Captain America. Alright. Hey, at least he stayed to his roots. At least he reps Louisiana, right? Unlike DC. Ariel is like controlled opposition. Yeah. Yeah, he feels like it. There is no way he's not friends with Ari Emanuel. True. True. I agree. Yeah, Ariel Helwani, he's kind of weaselly. Definitely. He has his good moments. He covered the betting scandal just a little bit. But yeah. He's kind of weaselly, that's for sure. But at least he has people on his podcast, some controversial people on his show. But yeah, he's probably friends with Ari and yeah. I can see that. I can see that. But you know what's crazy? Even Ali Abdelaziz, he bans his fighters aren't allowed to be interviewed by Ariel Helwani. That's some bitch shit. Ali Abdelaziz is afraid of his fighters being interviewed by Ariel Helwani. Ali Abdelaziz controls too much of the media as well, you know? The only media member that's somewhat not a bitch is James Lynch, but he's still a little bit boring. I wouldn't say he's a bitch, but even he's a little bit boring, you know? Let's step it up a little bit, James Lynch. Let's step it up, all right, buddy? But we need some real promotion going on here because the fight night's over now. 323's next week, and there's no drama going on it. Like there's no drama going on. Everyone on the card is cool with each other. Maybe Merab versus Piotr Yan have some history. But it seems like everyone on 323 is cool with each other. I'm sure Henry Cejudo's going to crack jokes towards Peyton Tabit, but, you know. It's not a personal fight or anything. Henry just wants to make some money. I need to figure out how to throw Salsa Boy in 323. Fuck it. Fuck it. I don't know. It just needs something. Something needs to pop off on this card. What does it need? What does it need? Merab is soy going after Pyotr Yan for being Russian. Is that what happened? He went after him for being Russian. I don't get it. That makes no sense to me. I get why Merab was pissed at Umar. Because Umar gets all this privilege. And he gets babied by the UFC. But Pyotr Yan, he's not privileged. He's not a company man. What did Pyotr Yan ever do? I'm rooting for Pyotr Yan. And I think he's actually going to do better than what people think. Who do you guys think has a better shot of becoming and new? Joshua Van or Pyotr Yan? Who has the better chance of becoming and new? It's close. I'm leaning towards Pantoja, and I'm leaning towards Merab. But if one of them could pull off the upset, who would it be in the title fight? Van or Yan? Probably Van has the better chance. But I hope Yan pulls off the upset. I hope so. Isn't it crazy that Merab ruined O'Malley's career? Out of all people, the guy that O'Malley didn't take seriously the first time. The guy that O'Malley just looked at as like a gnat in the room. Just an annoyance. Merab, out of all people, was the guy to end O'Malley. Crazy. Where has O'Malley been? Why isn't O'Malley fighting? O'Malley should be on 323, the end of the year card. I mean, come on. We got all the little guys on this card. We got tons of bantamweights on this card. We got flyweights on this card. What the fuck, O'Malley? O'Malley couldn't have fought Cejudo. It had to have been Peyton Tabit. I would have taken O'Malley versus Cejudo. That would have helped O'Malley get back on track. Merab was talking about the Ukraine situation like Yan has something to do with it. I bet Ari Emanuel told him he should. Huh. Interesting. Like Yan had something to do with it. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. But hey. Let's see it. Let's see their beef. Let's see it at the press conference. I doubt they're going to have any harsh words for each other. I do like when Merab gets riled up, though. He was funny at the last press conference. I'll give him that. He told Corey Sanhagen, he said, "Don't talk about me. You show your balls on OnlyFans. How dare you speak my name when you show your balls? You got small balls. I got Georgian balls." I want to see that version of Merab. I like heated Merab. I will say that. Georgia. Is Georgia really gonna keep running shit? Is Merab and Ilia Topuria? Are Merab and Topuria still gonna be champ? And during International Fight Week 2026? Let me know in the chat. Are the Georgians, Merab and Topuria, gonna still be champion International Fight Week next summer? I wonder. Who do you guys think's going to remain champ longer? Which Georgian? Merab or Taporia. You know? Van. But I think Pantoja would win. Oh, you think Van has the best chance of becoming Anu on 323? Me too. And yeah, I think Pantoja got this. He's underrated as fuck. He's the most underappreciated champ. I would say Aspinall is the most... Pantoja's the most underrated champ. Aspinall's the most... I don't know how to word it. He's the most, not disrespected, maybe forgotten about. I don't know. Everyone knows how good Aspinall is. But he doesn't have the respect. Aspinall's the least respected champ. Pantoja's the most underrated champ. Corey Sandhagen was just bullshitting. It's all a joke. But he was taking it serious, not getting the sarcasm. Does Corey Sandhagen really not have an OnlyFans? I thought he really did. Was that just a joke? Taporia gonna meet the expectations, which is to KO anyone in front of him. Well, my expectations for Taporia are fight Arman and then fight Ilia. I mean, fight Arman, then fight Islam. That's my expectation. If either one of those guys loses, they get an automatic rematch. I can't see Merab getting an automatic rematch. But maybe. Maybe. You might be onto some. I don't like Aspinall, honestly. I was rooting for Gon. You don't have to like Aspinall. But let's just all admit it. He's a tougher fight for John Jones than Piera. You don't have to like... You can like whoever you want, but... I think it's basically a fact. Aspinall's a tougher fight for John Jones than Piera. I think Aspinall needs to stand up for himself more. He needs to brag about his stats. He needs to brag about his record. And that's it. He needs to just state his resume. He needs to repeat his resume. He needs to talk about his octagon time, how quickly he knocks everyone out. If Aspinall doesn't stand up for himself, who will? Who will? He can't just have Andy Aspinall speaking for him all the time. Aspinall needs to start speaking for himself, I hope. I think Piera has great takedown defense and can KO Jones. He can, and he does. At light heavyweight. At heavyweight, I don't know. My thing is, Aspinall, his arms are like twice the size of Piera's. His torso is like twice as wide as Piera's. I mean, if Tom Aspinall winds up on top of John Jones is fucked. If Piera ends up on top of John Jones, Piera's going to just try to stand up. John Jones does not want to be under Tom Aspinall. John Jones does not want to be on the ground with Tom Aspinall. I doubt it. John Jones cannot throw around Tom Aspinall with a body lock and just drag him to the ground, you know? Piera's got big hands, big frame, but he's definitely not built like Mr. Incredible like Tom Aspinall is. And I don't think he's as explosive as Aspinall. You been listening to any Sada Baby, homie? Yeah, I've been listening to a little bit of Sada Baby, you know. Been listening to a little bit of him and Vaughn. He's got some songs with Sean. Yeah, he's funny. Heard some of his ciphers. I've been listening to Sada. I like him. I think he recently got arrested. This was maybe a year ago, but I think he recently got arrested near where I live. He got pulled over for just driving around doing some stupid shit. He roams around my area. But Pereira has great cardio and excellent striking. He can deal with what Jones does on the feet that gives other people trouble. Yeah. But the fact that Jon Jones feels more safe fighting Pereira than Aspinall is a little off-putting to me. Just imagine Jon Jones gets under Pereira's leg and tries to lift him up on his shoulders and dump him like Merab style. I could picture that. Picture Jon Jones trying to lift up Aspinall and trying to lift him up on his shoulder, and then dump him with the takedown Merab style. I can't picture that. I always wanted to see Jon Jones fight a 260-pound heavyweight, whether it's Francis Ngannou or Aspinall. I want Jon Jones to fight a fast striker, a fast puncher, who's 260 pounds about. I don't know. I just want to see Jon Jones fight a giant. And that's what it is. I want Jon Jones to fight a giant with a speed advantage. And Aspinall and Ngannou fit the description. I think Ngannou and Aspinall are both faster at striking and throw quicker punches than Jon Jones. I think Pereira has more proven wrestling defense. Who's taking down Aspinall? Yeah, Pierre's got great takedown defense, but I can bring up Pereira versus Jan Blachowicz, where he was on the ground most of the fight. Aspinall hasn't been put on his back in the UFC for longer than 2 seconds. Aspinall's been on his back in the octagon for about 2 seconds in UFC. Alex Pereira spent a good half of the Jan Blachowicz fight on his back, having his back taken. I think Jon Jones gets confidence watching Jan Blachowicz fight Alex Pereira. Jon Jones doesn't like the fact that Aspinall's only been put on his back for 2 seconds. Pereira defend every Ankalaev takedown. Ankalaev's a striker, you know. I mean, I get it. He's got some takedowns, but what about the Jan fight? That was a split decision. That's a very, very arguable fight for both sides. Jan Blachowicz versus Pereira. Till this day, I still don't know who won that fight. That fight is so close because Jan was holding Pereira on the floor. I think Jon Jones watches that fight every day. And I don't think Jon Jones has a fight like that to watch from Aspinall. I get it. No, Pereira, if Pereira's the favorite against Jon Jones, Pereira's still dangerous to Jon Jones. Okay, Jan's a champion. Okay. Let's just pretend. If Jon Jones loses his next fight, you get $1 million if Jon Jones loses his next fight. Okay? And you get to be the matchmaker. And remember, the incentive is if Jon Jones loses his next fight, you get $1 million. Who are you going to match up Jon Jones with in the UFC? Aspinall or Pereira? Remember, you get $1 million if Jon Jones loses his next fight. Who are you booking Jones against? Aspinall or Pereira? That's how I look at it. Shit. If I got $1 million, if someone said you get $1 million if John Jones loses his next fight, you get to match make his next fight. I'm saying Tom Aspinall. Payroll's new songs are so good. More fighters should walk out to those type of songs. We need some better walkout music. They should walk out to some Payroll while they're collecting their payroll. I'm going Piera. Wow. Okay, I'll ask you another question. Piera fights Tom Aspinall. Who do you got? They fight Piera versus Aspinall. Alright? They fight early next year. Who do you got? Hypothetical fight. Piera versus Aspinall. They can weigh whatever the fuck they want. You know? Catch weight. Not even. They can weigh whatever they want. It's up to them. Piera fights Aspinall. Who do you got? Hypothetical fight. Piera versus Aspinall. You own a fish aquarium, brother? Or would you ever get a fish? So, I don't have a fish aquarium on, like, right now with me. But my brother's got one. He's got a fish aquarium. His goldfish lived. Rest in peace to Crush, the goldfish. He lived for over 15 years. I think he lived for about 15 years. I've never seen a goldfish live that fucking long. Shout out to Crush, the goldfish. The oldest goldfish I've ever seen in my life. No, I don't have a fish right now, but maybe I should get an aquarium, but I'm going to have to clean it a lot. You got to clean that tank a lot, you know? That'd be a good present. That'd be a good Christmas gift for my cats, though. Aspinall in 50 seconds. I'm going Aspinall. That'd be tougher for Piera because it's at heavyweight. Right, right. So what I'm saying is, it would also be tougher for John Jones because Aspinall is so much of a larger man than Piera. Your bro has a 40-gallon tank. No. A norm. Oh, I didn't know you were talking that big of a tank. No, just a normal fucking, I don't know, 2-foot wide tank. Just a normal one. Does he have a rare fish? No, just normal goldfish. Just normal goldfish, but this goldfish was special. It lived like 15 years. And it just died. Now he's got another one. R.I.P. Crush. Now there's a new one named Ginger. Just goldfish. I used to have a beta fish. Don't ever have a beta fish in the tank with another fish. I think they'll kill the female beta. They make bubbles and all that shit. Okay, yeah, I was thinking of like a 40-gallon or bigger tank. Like big enough to buy an octopus even. No, that's you're thinking of Rainforest Cafe, man. You're thinking of Rainforest Cafe. That'd be awesome, though. Maybe one day I'll get one. That's the goal. One day I'm going to shoot for that. Let's go for that. Like Erie, let's go for that. What about you? You got any aquatic? You have an aquatic aquarium in your house? Or what's up? Only animals I got right now are cats. Where's my cat? Oh. I have an aquarium. I should buy an octopus to own. That's crazy. Octopuses are... They're like the weirdest creatures around. Maybe I should watch an octopus documentary. I think I have before. I have a 40-gallon tank. What's in there? Why do you have a 40-gallon tank? That's crazy. You must put in a lot of effort. That must be a lot of work. If I did, I would have a clownfish. I would have a pufffish. I would have the whole bikini bottom in that gallon tank. In that 40-gallon tank. You should get a cat then. You should get a cat. If you got fish floating around a 40-gallon tank, your cat would be so entertained. They'd be in like a dreamland. A 40-gallon tank, man. I would get everything. I would get one of every fish. If you keep the aquarium by the window, it's a lot more convenient to clean, so you can just drain the water right out of there and switch it. Interesting. Oh, I hear you. Okay. Yep. You just dump the water out the window? Okay. What's in your 40-gallon tank? I think the ocean's more interesting than space, by the way. You got the Loch Ness Monster in there? What do you got in that 40-gallon tank? What's in there, man? Turtles? Tell me you got turtles. All billionaires have rare fish. It's the secret. That sounds fun. I want rare fish. Not dump. Like there's a pipe to suck out the water and drain it out the window. Right. But what's in that 40-gallon tank? You should have a YouTube channel showing off the 40-gallon tank. And then you bring the water hose from outside into the window and fill it. And don't you gotta let it get to room temperature before the fish can swim in it? Isn't the hose too cold for the fish? Don't you gotta let it sit out for a few hours and get to room temp? But what's in that 40-gallon tank? Nothing? Just a shitload of fishes. What's the coolest one? What's the name and what's the pattern it has? What does it look like? All billionaires invest in the Svalbard grain trade. Oh, yeah. A secure backup facility for the world's crop diversity. All right. So, 40-gallon tank, is it worth it? Do you stare at it like, 30 minutes a day? Do you just watch the fish? Do you just pretend you're in the ocean and shit? Is it entertaining to look at or no? Like I said, man, you should get some cats. They would love that shit. They'll try to break into that tank. You know what? I want piranhas. I want piranhas. Give me a bunch of piranhas. And that I'll be entertained. That'd be cool. What do you think about that? Should I get a shitload of piranhas? But I'll make sure to keep the lid on tight and put some rocks and some heavy stones on top of it, because those bitches can just pop the lid open and jump out. I wasn't being serious. I just saw Svalbard grain trade on a meme account. Oh, okay. I got goldfishes. There's glowfishes, angelfishes. That's what's up. Should I get piranhas? What do you think about that? I think that'd be cool. I got 2 of these fishes called rose petal male beta fish. I like beta fish. That sounds sweet. Let me look that one up to see what it exactly looks like. I got a giant mansion. I have to get a giant rare fish tank. Wait, If I got a giant mansion, I have to get a giant rare fish tank in the middle. That's a true flex. Yes. Me too. If I get a giant mansion, I gotta get a giant rare fish tank. That is a flex. Yes. You're giving me some good ideas. Search for vampire crab. I'm gonna buy that. Alright, I'll look it up. Let's see, let's see. I'm sure I've seen one before. I know I've seen one before. Yeah, I've seen one before. They're like purple. And they got huge claws. A lot of them are purple. That's crazy. I want those too. Those are sick. Look at their eyes. Look at their beady yellow eyes. That's kind of freaky, but that's cool. I like that. Some of them are like blood orange, like the Money Making Mitch colors. Some are got like a purple hue to them, and they got like these beady yellow eyes. That's awesome. Yeah, the vampire crab is like $13 Canadian. Alright, alright. That looks sick. I would get one. Hell yeah. Yeah, if I ever live in a mansion, I'm getting a badass fish tank. No doubt. I'll like install it in the wall or something. Get a finger monkey, bro. Look it up. That does not sound like something I'm interested in getting. Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Wow, they're tiny. I think my cat would try to destroy it. There's this fish called Oscar fish, and it eats smaller fish. If you put a goldfish with an Oscar, the Oscar will eat it. I did not expect to be searching all these different types of fish, but fuck it. Oh yeah, that thing looks like it'll eat any fish near it. Look how big that mouth is on that fish. Yeah, I seen those Oscar fishes. They look like they're ready to eat anything. They look like grumpy. They look like they're pissed off. Yeah, no wonder why they're called Oscar. Oscar the Grouch. They look like they're pissed off or something. A goldfish is 20 cents each. Canadian currency. Good. Good. Nice and cheap. Nice and cheap. The Oscar fish. Now, can you put a piranha with anything? Or piranhas can only be with piranhas? My buddy owns an Oscar fish and he named the fish Oscar. Wow, how'd he come up with that? That's crazy. How did he think of that name? I think you sold me on that. On the vampire crab. That looks pretty sweet. I just keep searching fish for the past 20 minutes. That's hilarious. I want like all different types of things in one tank. Like turtle, this, that, and the other. Damn, alright. I learned. Okay, I searched the vampire crab, the finger, monkey. Everything. I'm sold. That's my goal. I'm going to get a fish tank now. I know, right? That vampire crab looks gangster as hell. It does. We tricked my cousin into thinking we had a fish that was invisible in our fish tank. She thought it was camouflage. Hey, there's some fish like that that blend in. But it wasn't even real. I would have believed it too, shit. There's some fish that camouflage, right? With the rocks. They blend in with the rocks. Your cousin was probably looking for the whole damn night for that fish. Oh my god. Well, you should be a fisherman. You should be a fisherman, man. You seem like you know, you got a lot of knowledge on this shit. Any fishermen here? No. What's the craziest thing anyone's ever caught? Yeah, bro, you should go on PetSmart right now and look at all the cool fish. So many cool fishes. Yeah. I should. I'm due for a trip. I'm going to bed now. See ya. I got to slave at work tomorrow. Alright. Putting in work on Sundays? Alright, I hope you get overtime since it's Sunday tomorrow. We'll catch you later, Caden. I hope you get OT tomorrow at least. Shit. Tomorrow's Sunday. Get that OT. Get that overtime. Don't work too hard now. But yeah, wow. I've been searching up fish the past 20 minutes. What the hell? Speaking of fish, has anyone been around Nina Drama lately? Yo, check this fish out. Oh, shit. I'm gonna listen to the song Johnny the Fisherman now. Whatever happened to that UFC fighter? the best fisherman in the UFC. Remember that guy? The guy Kevin Lee knocked out? He was undefeated before Kevin Lee knocked him out. Whatever happened to the best fisherman in the UFC? Not Bryce, someone else. I'll tell you his name right now. What happened to that dude? Gregor Gillespie. Whatever happened to Gregor Gillespie? The best fisherman in the UFC. What the fuck? He was such a good fighter. Does anyone remember Gregor Gillespie? The best fisherman in UFC? Did that guy fall off the edge of the earth or what the fuck? I want to buy this fish. The one I just sent you. Which fish? I missed it. Did you send the name of the fish? What did you send it to me on? Oh shit, YouTube shadow banned that comment. Just tell me what to type in. I'll type it in. I'm not a fan of clicking on links anyway. I'll type it in. What's it called? Alright, you let me know what it's called. I'll be right back. Yeah, screw the link. I'll type it in. Assorted black beta. Alright. Last one I'll look up. This is the last fish I'm looking up. It's the last one. Alright. What the fuck? Look at his tail. What the hell? It's got a real stringy tail. That's kind of crazy. Damn, it really puffs up. Badass fish for the last one. Yeah. What the fuck? That's kind of scary looking. Wow, that's intimidating right there. Look at all that stuff dangling off of it. That's like its tail and its fins. Looks like a bunch of blades. Like a bunch of razor blades are attached to it or some shit. Oh, man. Alright, guys. I did a double stream today. Probably gonna head out. I saved the best one for last. But yeah, I will catch you guys early next week for the UFC 323 fight week. I'll be streaming all of next week for sure. We got 323. Hopefully there's some big announcement coming on UFC 323, something to spice it up a little bit. But last pay-per-view week of the year. Last pay-per-view maybe ever. Coming up next week. I gotta work on my predictions. Oh yeah, I gotta fucking do the predictions. Alright. Keep an eye out for my predictions the next coming days. I'll read the last messages. Imagine these blackfish just chilling with the vampire crabs. Party scene. That'd be trippy. That'd be trippy. I'm definitely thinking about doing that. Adding that to my goal list. Having an aquarium is awesome. Well, shit, I'm glad you got it, man. Sparked some good ideas. Alright. I'll catch you guys soon for the last pay-per-view of the year. And keep an eye out for my predictions in the next coming days. Alright, thanks for everyone joining the stream. I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.